Shalom, my brothers and sisters in Yahuwah Elohim, and welcome to our midweek Bible study. Hope everybody's having a good week. Praise Yah, it's coming to an end and we're almost to Shabbat. Well, gang, tonight we're going to wrap up our study in Shemu'el Bet in 2 Samuel, okay? So go ahead and, we're going to do chapters 22, 23, and 24 and wrap it up tonight. So go ahead and grab your Bibles so that you can read along with me. There's some things in here that are a little difficult to understand, but I think that I got a grip on what's going on, and I think I'll be able to explain it so that we all understand. Okay? So grab something to drink and get comfy and hold on tight because we're coming to the end of the reign of David. Okay? Alright, gang. We'll grab a little drink here and we will get started. Got the supersized ice water tonight, so that way I got plenty because it's getting warm out here. Getting warmer. Alright. Shemu'el Bet, which is 2 Samuel, chapter 22. This is very beautiful. Then David spoke to Yahuwah the words of this song on the day when Yahuwah had delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Shaul. And he said, Yahuwah is my rock and my stronghold and my deliverer. My Elohim is my rock. I take refuge in him. My shield and the horn of my deliverance, my high tower and my refuge. My Savior, you save me from violence. I call on Yahuwah, the one to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. From the waves of death surrounded me, for the waves of death surrounded me. Floods of Baal made me afraid. The cords of Sheol were all around me. The snares of death were before me. My distress, I call upon Yahuwah. Oops, almost skipped a page. And to my Elohim I cried, and from his Hakal he heard my voice. And my cry was in his ears, and the earth shook and trembled. The foundation of the heavens were troubled because he was wroth. Smoke went up from his nostrils and devouring fire from his mouth. Coals were kindled by it, and he bowed the heavens and came down, and thick darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and flew, and was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he put darkness around him as booths, darkness of waters, thick clouds. From the brightness before him, coals of fire were kindled. Yahuwah thundered from the heavens, and the Most High sent forth his voice. He sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and confused them. And the channels of the sea were seen. The foundations of the world were uncovered. At the rebuke of Yahuwah, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils, he sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemies, from those hating me, for they were stronger than I. They confronted me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my support. And he brought me out into a large place. He delivered me, for he delighted in me. Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands, he repaid me. For I have guarded the way of Yahuwah, and have not acted wrongly against my Elohim. For all his right rulings are before me. As for his laws, I do not turn from them. And I am perfect before him, and I guard myself from my crookedness. And Yahweh repays me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness before his eyes. With the lovingly committed ones, you show yourself lovingly committed. With the perfect one, you show yourself perfect. With the clean, you show yourself clean. And with the crooked, you show yourself twisted. For you save the humble people, but your eyes are on the haughty, to bring them low. For you are my lamp, O Yahuwah, and Yahuwah makes my darkness light. For with you I run against the band. With my Elohim I leap over the wall. For the El, his way is perfect. The word of Yahuwah is proven. He is a shield to all who take refuge in him. For who is El beside Yahuwah? Who is the Creator beside Yahuwah? That's really quite a phrase there, and I bet that there's a lot of people that are going to freak out because they don't think that Yahuwah is the Creator. Think about some of these pagan beliefs that are running around. Whew, yeah, that's a statement. And who is a rock beside our Elohim? El is my mighty stronghold, and he makes my way perfect, making my feet like the feet of deer, and sets me on my high places, teaching my hands for battle, so that my arms bend a bow of bronze, and you give me the shield of your deliverance. And your lowliness make me great. You enlarge my step under me, so that my feet shall not slip. I pursue my enemies and destroy them, and I do not turn back till they are destroyed. And I destroy them and crush them, so that they do not rise and fall under my feet. Yeah, David was a warrior. He was not a wussy boy, like so many are today. Oh, we just got to go along to get along. No, David was out there just kicking butt on Yah's enemies. Yeah, think about it. Verse 40, and you gird me with strength for battle. You cause my adversaries to bow under me, and you make my enemies turn their backs. Those hating me, and I cut them off. They look, but there is no Savior. Unto Yahuwah, but he shall not answer them. And I beat them as dust of the earth. I beat them small as dirt. In the streets I spread them out. And you deliver me from the strivings of my people. You safeguard me as the head of the nations. A people I have not known serve me. Sons of the foreigner submit to me. As soon as they hear, they obey me. Sons of the foreigner fade away and gird themselves from their strongholds. Yahweh lives, and blessed is my rock, and exalted is my Elohim, the rock of my deliverance. El who avenges me, and bringing peoples down under me, and bringing me out from my enemies. You raise me up above those rising up against me. You deliver me from a man of violence. Therefore I give thanks to you, O Yahweh, among nations, and I sing praise to your name. A tower of deliverance is he to his sovereign, and showing loving commitment to his anointed, to David and his seed forever. Chapter 23. And these are the last words of David, the saying of David, son of Yishai, the saying of the man raised above, the anointed of the Elohim of Yaakov, and the sweet singer of Yasharel. The Spirit of Yahweh has spoken through me, and his word is on my tongue. The Elohim of Yasharel said, the rock of Yasharel spoke to me. One who rules over man righteously, who rules in the fear of Elohim, is like the light of the morning when the sun rises. A morning without clouds, tender grass from the earth, from sunshine, from rain. For is not my house so with El? For he has made an everlasting covenant with me, ordered in all manners and guarded for all my deliverance and all desire. Shall he not make it send forth a branch of David, Yahusha? But the worthless are all as thorns thrust away, for they are not taken with hands. But the man who touches them uses iron, or the shaft of a spear, and with fire they are burned up in their place. All right, let's go back and let's take a look at this for a minute. When we go back to verse 3 of chapter 23, it says, the Elohim of Yasharel said, the rock of Yasharel spoke to me. Build my house upon this rock. You remember what Yahusha said to Peter? Yah is the rock. Okay? It's not the rock that he was pointing at. Build it right here, Peter. Or build your house because you're the rock. Or no. Yah is the rock. Solid. Solid. Which points to Matthew 7:21, where Yahusha is speaking to Peter. Okay? Alright, I just kind of wanted to go over that real quick because there's a lot of misunderstanding about Matthew 7:21. As a matter of fact, let's go over there and we're going to read it real quick, okay? Let me find something to hold my place. Here's a pencil. Okay, Matthew 7:21. Let's go on over there. Oop, skip too far. Seven 21. Okay? It's on page 926 in the scriptures, okay? Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. What's lawlessness? Not following Torah is lawlessness. Therefore, verse 24, therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. See, Yah is the rock. Build your house on the rock. Verse 25, and the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like foolish men who built his house on the sand. Not on Yahuwah's word. Verse 27, and the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And it came to be, when Yahusha had ended these words, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one possessing authority, and not as the scribes. Okay, so are we seeing a connection here? The rock of Yasharel is Yah. Okay, I know the churches have kind of twisted all that around, and some have totally went crazy with that. Is Peter is the rock? No, Peter's not the rock. Petra is not the rock. Yahuwah is the rock. Okay? I just thought that I would point that out because it's pretty descriptive here. Alright, let's go back here. 2 Samuel 23, verse 8. These are the names of the mighty men whom David had. Okay? So a lot of these guys, if you notice their names, they're not of the tribes of Yasharel or of Yehuda. They're of the nations. They're the mercenaries. Okay? So check out some of these names and pay attention to who is and who is not of the tribes of Yasharel. Okay? These are the names of the mighty men whom David had. Yosheb Bashebeth, the Tahakemonite, chief among the officers. He was Adino, the Estonite, for 800 slain at one time. This guy killed 800 of the enemy at one time, not over his career, at one time. Whew. Verse 9, and after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, one of the 3 mighty men with David, when they taunted the Philistines who were gathered there for battle, and the men of Yasharel had gone up. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary, but his hand clung to the sword. So Yahuwah brought about a great deliverance that day, and the people returned after him only to plunder. So he stood there and kept fighting and kept fighting and kept fighting after the people ran away. And when the battle was done, everybody returned to plunder. Yeah. Verse 11, and after him was Shema, son of Agag, the Hararite. And the Philistines had gathered into a company, where there was a plot of ground covered with lentils. And the people fled from the Philistines. Here again, the people are running away. But he took his stand in the middle of the field, and delivered it, and struck the Philistines. And Yahuwah wrought a great deliverance. And 3 of the 30 chief men went down at harvest time, and came to David at the cave of Adullam, while the army of Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim, in the valley of giants. And David was then in the stronghold, while a watchpost of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, "Oh, that someone would give me a drink of the water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." And the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines, and drew water from the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But he would not drink it, but poured it out to Yahuwah. So David was like, man, that would be so cool if I could have a drink out of the well of Bethlehem. And 3 of the mighty men were like, hey, we'll take care of this. And they busted through the Philistines, slinging swords back and forth, slaughtering Philistines to get a cup of water to bring back to David. But David was like, wow, there's no way that I could drink this water after that, after these men risked their lives to get this water. There's no way that I'm worthy to drink it. So he poured it out to Yahuwah. Verse 17, and he said, far be it from me, O Yahuwah, to do this. The blood of the men who went at the risk of their lives, so he would not drink it. This is what the three mighty men did. See, it was quite a valor. Whew. There was some serious valor going on there. Verse 18, and Abishai, the brother of Joab, son of Tisserah, was chief of another three, and he lifted his spear against 300 men, whom he slew, and had a name among those three. So Abishai, remember Abishai, Joab's brother? Yeah, he was a bad dude too. He slew 300 in one shot. Verse 19, now they were of the children of Yasharel. Okay? Joab's family was of the children of Yasharel. Verse 19, for he not the most esteemed of three, and he became their commander, but he did not come to the first three. So he was a bad dude, but he wasn't as bad as the first three. Verse 20, and Beniyahu was the son of Jehoiada, son of a brave man from Kabseel, great in deeds. He struck 2 lion-like men of Moab, and he went down and struck a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. So these lion-like men, were they Nephilim? Or were they just really fearsome fighters? Lion-like men, and then he killed a lion after that in a pit on a really snowy day. So it makes you wonder if they weren't Nephilim, if they were like men with a lion's head or something. Kind of makes you wonder. Alright, verse 21. And he struck a Mitzrian, an impressive man, and the Mitzrian had a spear in his hand. So he went down to him with a staff, just a staff, wrestled the spear out of the Mitzrian's hand, and killed him with his own spear. This is what Beniyahu, son of Jehoiada, did, and had a name, among the 3 mighty men. Verse 23, he was more esteemed than the 30, but he did not come to the first 3, and David set him over his guard. Ooh, my eyes are messing with me. And Asahel, the brother of Joab, here's another brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elhanan, son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Shema, the Harodite. Elkah, the Harodite. Heletz of Paltite. Ira, son of Ikesh, the Techovite. And Abiezer, the Anathothite. Mebunini, the Hushathite. See, none of these guys are of the tribes, just the brothers of Joab so far. Salmon, the Ahohite. Marai, the Netophethathite. Heleb, son of Banaa, the Netophethathite. Ittai, son of Ribah, from Geba, of the children of Benjamin. There's one right there. Benayahu, the Parathonite. Hadai, from the wadis of Ga'ash, Abi Alabon, the Arabathite, Asmaveth, the Barahumite, Elahaba, the Sha'alabanite, the sons of Yashan, Yehonathan, Shammah, the Hararite, Ahayim, son of Sharar, the Hararite, Eliphet, son of Ahashabai, son of Makathite, Eliam, son of Ahithophel, the Gilonite, Hesarai, the Carmelite, Perarai, the Arbite, Yigal, the son of Nathan of Tisbah, Benai, the Gadite. So there's another one from Gad. Tezlek, the Ammonite. Yeah, that guy was an Ammonite. Naharai, the Beerothite, armor bearer of Joab, son of Tesserah. Irah, the Yetherite, Gareb, the Yetherite, and Uriah the Hittite, 37 in all. You remember Uriah the Hittite? Yeah, Bathsheba's husband. All right, chapter 24 is kind of deep, so get ready. I hope my eyeballs hold out for me because, I'm having some trouble seeing tonight. Everything's pretty blurry. All right, chapter 24. Pay attention. And again, the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against Yasharel, and moved David against them to say, Go, number Yasharel and Yehudah. And the sovereign said to Joab, the commander of the army who was with him, Go, please, throughout all the tribes of Yasharel, from Dan to Beersheba, and register the people, so that I know the number of the people. And Joab said to the sovereign, Even if Yahuwah, your Elohim, does add to the people 100-fold more than there are, and the eyes of my master the sovereign see it, but why does my master the sovereign delight in this matter? David, what is this all about? This is not needed. Why are you doing this? Verse 4, However, the sovereign's word was strong toward Joab and against the commanders of the army. And Joab and the commanders of the army went out from the presence of the sovereign to register the people of Yasharel. Yeah. Pay attention. And they passed over the Jordan and camped in Eror, on the right side of the town, which is in the midst of the wadi of Gad, and towards Yazur. Then they came to Gilad, and to the land of Tatim Hodishi, and they came to Dan Ya'an, and around to Tisdon. And they came to the stronghold of Tsor, and to all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites, and went out to south Yehudah as far as Beersheba. And when they had gone through all the land, they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 new moons and 20 days. So 9 months and 20 days it took them to do the census. Okay, so almost 10 months. And Joab gave the number of the registration of the people to the sovereign, and there were in Yasharel 800,000 brave men who drew the sword, and the men of Yehudah were 500,000 men. Okay, see the difference in the armies there. The northern 10 tribes had 800,000 men to fight, and Yehudah were 500,000 men. So there is quite a difference there in numbers. Okay? Remember, there's a division. Keep that in mind. There's a division between Yasharel and Yehuda. Remember, David was the sovereign, the king in Yehuda, in Jerusalem, for 7.5 years before Yasharel accepted him as sovereign. All right? And then when he came back to Jerusalem, he was crossing the Jordan after this deal with Absalom, and Yasharel got upset, and they took off their own direction. So there's a division there. So is David sizing up Yasharel compared to Yehuda in case if there's a war? Is that what he's doing? I don't know. Let's think about this for a minute. Let's read on. Verse 10, and the heart of David struck him after he had numbered the people. And David said to Yahuwah, I have sinned greatly in what I have done. But now, I pray, O Yahuwah, take away the crookedness of your servant, for I have done very foolishly. So David, it hit him that what he was doing was an unrighteous act. Okay? But if we go back to Numbers 1:1, we remember that the last time that there was a census taken, that Yahuwah came to Moshe and had him number the people, but he had the leaders of the tribes participating in all of this. Okay? So if Yahuwah hasn't asked David to do this, this is on David's own will that he's doing this. But then let's go back here to the very first verse of 24 and reread that. And again the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against Yasharel, and moved David against them to say, go number Yasharel and Yehuda. So Yahuwah is influencing David to do this because he is angry with Yasharel. Okay? So there's a lot going on here. You have Yahuwah influencing David. Didn't ask him to do it, but he's influencing David to do this. And then, all of a sudden, David went, oh, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, jeez, what am I doing? So then, verse 11, and David rose up in the morning, and the word of Yahuwah came to the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, go, and you shall speak to David. Thus said Yahuwah, I hold 3 options before you. Choose one of them, and I do it to you. Gad then came to David and informed him, and he said to him, should 7 years of scarcity of food come to you in your land, or would you flee 3 new moons before your enemies, while they pursue you? Or should there be 3 days' plague in your land? Now know, and see what answer I take back to him who sent me. So there's a curse coming because of this. But remember that Yahuwah is mad at Yasharel. Okay, so he's allowing David. David thinks that he is in the wrong here. But he's being influenced by Yah. He's being guided by the Ruach to do this. Okay? But he's thinking that maybe he's doing this on his own without Yah's permission. Okay, so David is feeling real funky about all this, and now Gad, the seer, has come to him and said, look, David, you got 3 choices. You could do this, this, or this, and let me know which one is your choice so I can go back and talk to Yah about all of this, okay? Verse 14, and David said to Gad, I am in great trouble. Please let us let us fall into the hand of Yahuwah, for his compassion is great, but do not let me fall into the hands of man. So he's saying, let Yah choose. I cannot decide this. You're going to have to let Yah choose, but I don't want to be on the run. So whichever one Yah chooses, but please don't let me fall into the hands of man. Verse 15, and Yahweh sent a plague upon Yasharel from the morning till the appointed time, and from Dan to Beersheba 70,000 men of the people died. So the entire area of Yasharel, where the northern 10 tribes are, from Dan all the way down to Beersheba, which we're going to see that again as we get into Solomon, after Solomon actually, we're going to see this all happen again. 70,000 men died. Okay? Keep that in mind. Verse 16, and the messenger stretched out, capital H, his hand. So, this sounds like another Christophany, because it's a capital H, his hand, and he's a messenger, over Jerusalem to destroy it. And Yahuwah relented concerning the evil, and said to the messenger who was destroying the people, it is enough. Now stop, capital Y-O-U-R, your hand. And the messenger of Yahuwah was by the threshing floor of Arvanah, the Jebusite. Okay? So, the messenger of Yahuwah. This sounds like a Christophany. This sounds like it might be Yahusha that's casting judgment upon Yasharel. Okay? Because see where it ended. It ended as it got to Yasharelim. Okay? It didn't make it into Jerusalem. It stopped right there. Okay? And the guy's house that it stopped at was Arbanah, the Jebusite. Interesting, huh? There's a lot here. There's a lot of information here, and a lot of times we just go skipping right on through it and then wonder, I wonder why this all happened. But when you read it, when you break it down bit by bit, then it makes sense. Because there is division here between the children of Yasharel and the children of Yehuda. There's division there. And Yah's not happy about it. So it makes a lot more sense when you break it down a little bit at a time. Verse 17. And David spoke to Yahuwah when he saw the messenger. David saw the messenger who was striking the people, and said, see, I have sinned, and I have done perversely. But these sheep, what have they done? Let your hand, capital Y, your hand, I pray, be against me and against my father's house. So David's saying, please, stop. Don't do any more. If you're going to do any more, punish me or my father's house. No more for the people. Verse 18, and Gad came that day to David and said to him, go up, raise a slaughter place to Yahuwah on the threshing floor of Arvanah the Jebusite. And David, according to the word of Gad, went up as Yahuwah commanded. And Arvanah looked and saw the sovereign and his servants coming toward him. And Arvanah went out and bowed before the sovereign with his face to the ground. And Arvanah said, why has my master the sovereign come to his servant? And David said, to buy the threshing floor from you, to build a slaughter place to Yahuwah, so that the plague be withdrawn from the people. And Arvanah said to David, let my master the sovereign take and offer that which seems good to him. Here are cattle for a sending offering, and the threshing implements, and the yokes for the cattle for wood. So Arvanah is like, please just take it. Take the threshing floor. Here's some cattle for you to go ahead and slaughter. You can break up the yokes. You can use all of the implements here to start your fire. Whatever you need, king, go ahead. I'm giving it to you. Verse 23. All these, O sovereign, Arvanah has given to the sovereign. And Arvanah said to the sovereign, Yahuwah, your Elohim, except you. And the sovereign said to Arvanah, no, let me buy it from you for a price. For certain, I am not offering ascending offerings to Yahuwah my Elohim without cost. He's like, no. I'm paying you for this. I am not accepting this as charity. I am paying you for this. So David bought the threshing floor and the cattle for 50 shekels of silver. And David built a slaughter place to Yahuwah there, and offered ascending offerings and peace offerings. And Yahuwah answered the prayers for the land, and the plague was withdrawn from Yasharel. Okay? Very interesting. And that is the end of Shemu'el Bet. So, on Shabbat, we'll be starting Melchim Aleph, which is First Kings. Okay? So that's what we'll be starting on Shabbat. But it's extremely interesting if you read it slowly. Then it makes sense, especially after reading Shemu'el Bet and understanding the division there. And obviously Yah is not happy with Yasharel, with the northern 10 tribes. He is not pleased with them, so he took them out. Yeah. Whew. And that was a real plague. It wasn't no COVID-19 fake plague. It was a real plague that took out a lot of people. Man. But if you just read over it, it doesn't make any sense. Or it seems like David is just running away with the show and doing his own thing. But when you break it down and you think about it, you understand that there is a lot more fighting men in Yasharel than there is in Yehuda. And Yah evened it out, at least to a point. Very interesting how he was influencing David. He didn't ask him to do it, but he influenced him to do it. The Ruach influenced him, guided him in that direction. And then David felt horribly guilty about what he had done and he was repenting for it. So Yah went through the motions with him and said, yeah, okay, this will work. Go ahead and build me a slaughter place, and we'll take care of all this. We'll heal everything and smooth everything over. We'll be all good. It's very interesting. I find it incredibly fascinating. But, yeah, Yah's incredibly fascinating. Praise Yah. He's absolutely incredible the way he works. Praise Yahuwah. Oh my. What a wonderful Elohim we have. Praise Yah. Alright, gang. That's all I've got for tonight. But we'll be back to start a new book on Shabbat. So go ahead and get ready for that. It's always good to start a new book, and there's a lot in First Kings. Okay? So, bless all of you that are seeking knowledge and wisdom in Yahuwah. Bless your families. Please teach your families. Teach your children. They need it. This generation is so lost. It's horrible. It's so lost. Talk to these young people. Help them to try to understand. Help them to believe. Explain it to them. Read them the book from the beginning, from Bereshith. Sit them down on Shabbat and read to them, if they'll sit down. If they don't just reject it and tell you, oh, you're just an old, don't worry about it, blah, 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 whatever garbage they're going to spew at you. Try to influence them to sit down and read with you. Your grandchildren. You can get your grandchildren to sit down and read with you. If you're reading to them, the little ones love it. They'll sit there and listen for an hour or so to you just read before they start getting antsy and they want to go run around. But please teach your children. All right, gang. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Enjoy. Enjoy every day. Relish every day. Give thanks and praise to Yah. Praise Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. All right? All right, gang. We'll see you on Shabbat. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you then. Shalom.